Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. We're your hosts, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how you holding up in this lockdown?
I'm not really locked down. For once, I'm actually essential. So there's that. How about yourself?
I'm pretty central myself. I was gonna go stupid with saying I'm locked up, not locked down, but yours is way better. So I'm just gonna go central. So, I never thought when we came up with this idea for a podcast that we'd run out of new movies to talk about.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously, not our choice, not Hollywood's choice, but that's where we've come to. And obviously, your idea of director discussion has been going great so far, but we can't do that every week. So I think for this week, we're going to keep it simple. So, since everyone's locked up or locked down, you have time to watch some movies. It's a great time to catch up before the rush of new release that keeps building up now whenever theaters reopen. So we each have two picks. We're just going to go back and forth. Why you think we think you should watch them, and that's about it. Short, simple episode. Some nice movie recommendations. So Mike, what was your first pick?
first pick is going to be an older movie with two very well-known actors, Prisoners, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. Now, this story is would you call this a thriller drama?
I would
Yeah,
say more of a thriller than a drama.
yeah.
It's
So,
tense. It's tense.
yeah. In a nutshell, Hugh Jackman's daughter gets kidnapped by a serial kidnapper. Jake Gyllenhaal plays the officer or detective who has the case. Hugh Jackman uncovers a slew of details that basically tells him who his daughter's kidnapper is, and he goes on the hunt to find the kidnapper, and then Jake Gyllenhaal has to run after him to find Hugh Jackman and try to stop him from doing something terrible. Also, while trying to find the kidnapper as well.
Like actually solve the case the right way. I've seen this movie as well. That's one of the ones I've seen, and it's fantastic. You didn't mention it, but it is directed by Denis Villeneuve. He's done Arrival, he's done Blade Runner. There's one more of his earlier works back in like 2012, 2013, but it's really, really good. It's really tense from like as soon as the kidnapping happens, it's tense, I would say, all the way to the end.
Oh, yeah. And it kind of puts you in the mindset of the characters as well. Like, how far would you be willing to go to get your loved one's kidnapper? So it adds a lot of good real life human emotion into it without overly dramatizing it.
Absolutely. Definitely top tier performance from both Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. If you think of Hugh Jackman, obviously as Wolverine, or when he's not doing that, he's singing and dancing. No, it gets very dark. He goes very dark place for this movie.
It's a great performance. It also, I don't want to say debuts, but this is kind of where he started to blow up. Paul Dano. He is going to be our new Riddler for the 2021, as of right now, Batman. It showed a great performance by him and how creepy he can be.
Yeah, obviously. I never really heard of him until I saw the movie. But then once I saw he was announced as Riddler, I'm like, that's a good pick. If there's one thing about that Batman movie, it's star-studded casting. But there's a simple movie, simple thriller. Will keep you excited from all the way start to finish. And like you said, Mike, it does, like, especially in Hugh Jackman's role. At first, you agree with him. It's like, yeah, he probably did it. Let's do this. And then it keeps going further, further, and further. It's like, do you agree with him all the way to what happens in the end, or at some point you're like, no, this is too far. It gets you thinking like that.
It definitely does.
All right, so my first pick is kind of on the opposite. This is just straightforward comedy. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. This is a comedy from Judd Apatow, who you may have known as a lot of those comedies with Seth Rogen. This is an older movie, I think 2007, around there. And it wasn't big. It's more of a cult movie. But it basically has John C. Reilly as Dewey Cox. Dewey Cox is basically grows up to be a country musician. And the movie, Mike, have you heard of the Pop Star movie?
The what?
The Pop Star movie with the Lonely Island Band?
No, I have not.
Okay. All right, so that one made fun of a band going through the pulp culture lifestyle in today's world. I was just trying to the best way to describe this movie. This basically is like a movie about a fake musician that goes through all the stereotypical country artists and a lot of callbacks as well um, in the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Well, I think
So
you're missing out on the fact that it's basically a fictional spin-off joke of Johnny Cash and
yeah,
Off the Line story.
yeah, yeah. Like it has elements from other singers, but yeah, basically a lot of it is Johnny Cash related, obviously in a funner way, and it's honestly hilarious. And you don't need to know country music to enjoy this movie. You can just simply sit down, watch it, and yeah, it's a fun time. Obviously, John C. Reilly is the main lead. You do have Jonah Hill in a small role. You know, cameos from like Jack Black and stuff. So it's definitely a fun time. And look, after you watch Thriller, Prisoners, a very good thriller, you need to relax. Watch this movie. So, Mike, what is your second pick?
My second pick, and I've saved the best for last, is a movie that no one really ever knew existed. Very few people did. The people that I've put onto this movie absolutely loved it. It is starring the now Oscar-winning Joaquin Phoenix in a smaller movie and smaller budget. It's called You Were Never Really Here. Now, this is 100% a darker movie. It is Joaquin Phoenix, who has PTSD on so many levels, from childhood abuse to being a Gulf War veteran. He's essentially I don't want to say a hitman, but kind of like a hitman, except more deeply into the child slavery ring. Like, if your child was kidnapped and put into child slavery, he's the guy that you would call to investigate and get your kid back, with your kid still being alive. And this movie goes deep through corruption at the highest level, dives deep into the real life horrors of child slavery and the child sex trade, as well as giving you a very intense movie that you're watching through, and at times you're witnessing his PTSD and you're kind of getting it, and you're kind of left not really knowing what was actually real and what wasn't real due to his mindset.
So, what you mean by that is, like you said, with PTSD, does the film try and get you to put yourself in the footsteps of Joaquin Phoenix's character, so you don't know who to trust, a la Memento, or do you see what the truth is the entire time?
You do see what the truth is, but there are a lot of shocking moments, and then it actually never happened. And then other moments are shocking, and you're thinking, all right, well, if that last one didn't actually happen, this one did. And then it turns out this one actually is 100% what happened. So the movie plays with you a lot. It tries to trick you into thinking you know the rhythm of it, but you really don't. So it keeps it fresh and interesting and a very enjoyable watch.
I don't know. Well, that's definitely been on my list for a while now. Maybe with this lockdown, I will finally get the chance to sit down and watch it, because I've heard nothing but good praise from critics, from you, and yeah, I saw the trailer, and it's definitely something that has my interest. So I would also go with your recommendation on that. And for my final movie, my final recommendation is a little bit of a cheat, but basically we'll start off with Casino Royale. So Daniel Craig's last movie was supposed to be coming out now, by the time we're recording this, but that got pushed to November. It's his final movie as James Bond, so now is the perfect time if anyone hasn't seen Casino Royale, which is a great James Bond movie, a really good action movie, good spy movie, whatever you want to, whatever category you want to put it under. It's a great movie. You'll have a good time watching it. And then after that, if you want a bit more, catch up on the rest. I feel some of it is required watching for the final movie based on how they're selling it. Some of them are not as good as the others. Spectre, to name one. But
Quantum Solace.
I will defend Quantum of Solace. Spectre is really the only bad one.
I will say Quantum of Solace is the second worst.
I think we're gonna have to have an episode about this down the road. And I will have to rewatch Quantum of Solace because in my head right now, Quantum of Solace is above Skyfall.
Oof.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Skyfall when I watched.
You're banana.
Oh, you really like that Home Alone ending? Hmm?
Listen, a good spy deals with what he has.
Mm-hmm.
I think he delved too deep. Skyfall is the reason why Spectre kind of didn't do well, because they're like, oh, we explored his past, let's explore it some more. Like, no, should have just left it at the end of Skyfall and, done something else.
Yeah, shouldn't look at the curtain.
Skyfall was definitely a lot more fun to watch than Quantum of Solace was.
Well, we'll definitely have to have a discussion whenever the new one actually comes out. Because, yeah, I'd like to go into that a bit more. But just to keep it on track, everyone should watch Casino Royale at a minimum. And then if you have time, watch the other 3 movies. So you'll be caught up for the No Time to Die, hopefully November at this point.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, we're hoping Thanksgiving. You never know. Maybe we'll be back in a few months doing another list of movies to recommend in the meantime.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, hopefully not. I guess the question we should ask people listening is, do you have any movies you want to recommend to anyone else or to us? If there's something you've listened to a few episodes, we haven't really talked about a movie or a director, what is it you want us to watch? Mike, where could they let us know if they have those?
Well, as always, you can send us a business formal email, and I mean proper business formal. We will not look at it otherwise. Just kidding. So shoot us an email, but easier way for you guys is probably Instagram. Send us a direct message, comment under our latest post. Let us know what we want to watch or what you want us to talk about on our next podcast. Finally, we do have a YouTube channel, and it's also Entertainment Expansion. So check it out. Got a lot of cool stuff on there.
Yeah, we do. Definitely, I'd say with some of the user comments and all that, the uploads, we're definitely a bit more active on YouTube. But yeah, also, we check the email every so often. So if you want to do it that way, go ahead, and obviously Instagram post, feel free to comment there. But hopefully we brought you some pretty good, unique recommendations to pass the time during this unique situation. And we will be back next week. Thank you for listening.